Hey YouTube, Tim Unkert here. This will be the final part of my Algebra 1 Fundamentals Finals review. We're at problem 17 that reads, find the missing term in the arithmetic sequence. And we have 2 and 10. So what we're going to do is find the arithmetic mean, which I'll abbreviate as AM here. And to do that, we're going to take the average between 2 and 10. So we'll add 2 plus 10 and then divide by the amount of numbers we have, which is 2 here, to find our average. So 2 plus 10 is 12. And if we do 12 divided by 2, that's going to be 6. So our missing term here is going to be 6. All right, next one. We're going to factor x squared plus 7x plus 10. This is a factoring problem where the number in front of x squared, which we typically refer to as a, is equal to 1. So what I can do is list the factors of 10. I have a positive here and a positive here, so I'm just going to list positive factors. So I could multiply 1 by 10 to get 10, and I could also do 2 times 5. Now I want to pick the pair of factors that adds up to the coefficient in front of x here, which is 7. So that would be a positive 2 and a positive 5. And then to write this in factored form, I'd write it as x plus 2 times x plus 5. And that would be my final solution here. Okay. All right, let's go and look at the next problem. So problem 19, this time we're factoring, again, x squared minus 7x plus 10. The last one was plus 7x. We still have our number in front of x squared as equal to 1. I'm going to list the factors of 10 this time, but this time I'm going to stick to negative factors because we're trying to add to a negative 7. So I could multiply negative 1 by negative 10, or negative 2 times negative 5. Now, negative 2 plus negative 5, that adds to negative 7. So that's the pair I want to pick. And to write this in factored form, I would write this as x minus 2 times x minus 5. And that's my factored form for this one. All right, next one, we're solving. And we'll solve by factoring. It's solving x squared plus 11x plus 30. So first off, we want to factor it. We have a plus here and a plus here, so I'm going to list the positive factors of 30. Those are 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, and 5 and 6. Now 5 plus 6 adds to 11. That's the pair of factors I want. So I'm going to write this in factored form as x plus 5 times x plus 6, and that equals 0. Now we are supposed to solve this. So now what I'm going to use is the zero product property, and basically what that allows me to do is set each of these factors equal to 0 and solve for x. Why does that work? Well, if x plus 5 was 0, 0 times whatever x plus 6 would be 0. And if x plus 6 equals 0, whatever x plus 5 is times 0 is 0. Okay, so I'm going to set x plus 5 equal to 0. And I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides here. 5 minus 5 is 0. We can cross those off, and we get x equals negative 5 as one of our solutions. I'm also going to set x plus 6 equal to 0. And I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. 6 minus 6 is 0. So we get just x equals 0 minus 6, or x equals negative 6. So our two solutions here are x equals negative 6 and x equals negative 5. All right, let's move on to problem 21. All right, problem 21, we are factoring a difference of squares pattern. That pattern follows the form a squared minus b squared, and that factors into a plus b times a minus b. All right, so if I think a squared is equal to x squared and b squared is equal to 81, well then square root of a squared, which will give us a, is going to be equal to x. And if I take the square root of b squared, which is going to give me b, I also have to take the square root of 81. So I take the square root of one side, I have to take the square root of the other. So b is going to be 9. So this is going to factor into x plus 9 times x minus 9. And there we go with that one. All right, next one, we're going to factor x squared plus 12x plus 36. Now this is I recognize the pattern, but the pattern is this is what we call a perfect square trinomial. So it's a squared plus 2ab plus b squared is the form. And that's going to factor into a plus b squared. All right, so we'd want to check to make sure this is a perfect square trinomial. So if we say a squared equals x squared and b squared equals 36, well, if I want to solve for a, I got to take the square root of a squared, so I got to also take the square root of x squared. You know, what I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other. So the square root of a squared is a, square root of x squared is x. If I want to figure out what b is, I have to take the square root of b squared, and therefore I'd have to take the square root of 36. So b is going to be equal to the square root of 36, which is 6. Okay, so we want to check that 2ab is equal to 12x. And if that works out, then this is a perfect square trinomial. And I can just write this as x plus 6 squared, a plus b squared, right? So 2ab is going to be 2 times x times 6, which is going to be 12x. So that's what we want. So this is a perfect square trinomial. So the factored form is going to be a plus b, quantity a plus b squared. So it's going to be x plus 6 squared. All right. Let's keep going. This next one here says factor 9x squared plus 36x plus 36. So I'm thinking this is a perfect square trinomial. So let's check. A squared would be the first term, 9x squared. B squared would be the last term, 36. The square root of a squared is going to be a, so we'll take the square root of both sides to figure out what a is. So a is going to be the square root of 9x squared, which is just 3x. To find b, we have to take the square root of b squared, so we'd have to take the square root of 36. So b is going to equal the square root of 36, which is 6. let's check to make sure this is a perfect square trinomial. So we do 2 times a times b, and that should be 36x. So we do 2 times 3x times 6. So 2 times 3x is 6x. 6x times 6 is 36x. So this does check out. It is a perfect square trinomial. It will factor into the form of the quantity a plus b squared. In this case, 3x plus 6 squared. Okay, and that's it for that one. All right, next one. We're going to solve 25x squared plus 40x plus 16 equals 0. I think this is a perfect square trinomial. Let's check. So a squared is going to be 25x squared, first term. B squared is going to be 16. So to solve for a, I need to take the square root of both sides. So the square root of a squared is a. The square root of 25x squared is 5x. To solve for b squared, again, I'm going to have to take the square root of both sides. So the square root of b squared is b. And square root of 16 is 4. Okay, so 2ab. So again, we're checking to make sure that this is a perfect square trinomial. It's going to be 2 times 5x times 4. So 2 times 5x is 10x, times 4 is 40x. So that equals our middle term. So this is a perfect square trinomial, meaning the left-hand side is going to factor to 5x plus 4 squared, and that equals 0. So now if I want to solve for x, I'm going to have one unique solution here. And it's basically the vertex is going to bounce off the x-axis. It's going to be a parabola that opens up. But all I have to do to find the one solution, one unique real solution here, is set 5x plus 4 equal to 0. So I'll subtract 4 from both sides here. 4 minus 4 is 0. And I'll get 5x equals negative 4. I'll then divide both sides by 5. So my one solution is x equals negative 4/5. That's my one unique real solution. Boom. Okay. Last one. Looks like another perfect square trinomial, but let's check. So I'm going to check that by saying a squared is going to be the first term, so 100x squared. B squared is going to be the last term, so 49. To solve for a, I need to take the square root of a squared. That means if I do one thing to the left-hand side, I have to do it to the right-hand side. So square root of a squared is a. Square root of 100x squared is 10x. Okay, I want to solve for b squared, so I'm going to take the square root of b, or solve for b, so I'm going to take the square root of b squared, which is b. I also have to take the square root of 49, the other side, and that's going to be 7. Okay, so 2ab is going to be, well, that's going to be 2 times 10x times 7. That's going to be 140x. So this is a perfect square trinomial. meaning the factored form is going to be 10x, the quantity 10x plus 7 squared. And there we go. We are done with our Algebra 1 Fundamentals Finals review. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe. Thanks.